Every time you scroll online, someone's buying a house, driving a Tesla, or showing off how they made six figures from their phone. And you're sitting there thinking, what am I even doing wrong? But here's the truth no one really talks about. You might actually be doing way better than you think. Almost 60% of Americans can't even cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing. So if you've got some savings, you pay your bills on time, or you're investing even a little bit each month. You're already ahead of most people. The problem is, nobody tells you that because social media keeps showing you what rich looks like, not what financially healthy looks like. And today, we're changing that. Sign number one, you have an emergency fund. Dave Ramsey once said, you can't truly have peace until you've learned to control your money, because until then, money controls you. And that's exactly what an emergency fund gives you, control. It might not seem like a big deal, but having money set aside that could cover 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses, rent, groceries, utilities, gas, that's one of the strongest signs of financial stability. Because it's not just about the money. It's about peace of mind. When your car breaks down or work slows down, you don't panic. You don't reach for your credit card in desperation. You just handle it calmly. That's real financial freedom. Here's the crazy part. 59% of Americans wouldn't be able to cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. More than half the country would have to go into debt if life threw them even a small curveball. So if you've managed to save up even a small emergency fund, trust me, you're already ahead. Think of it like building a house. The emergency fund is your foundation. It's not flashy, like no one brags about a solid foundation, but when the storm hits, it's the reason the house stays standing. So if you've built an emergency fund, even if it's not as big as you want it to be yet, be proud. You've built the foundation for real financial peace, the kind that keeps you steady no matter what happens next. Sign number two, you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Let's be honest, for most people, payday doesn't feel like a celebration, it feels like a sigh of relief. The second that direct deposit hits, half of it's gone. Rent, bills, groceries, gas, maybe even a few subscriptions you forgot to cancel, and by the next week, you're already counting the days until the next paycheck. That's what living paycheck to paycheck really means. Your income covers your expenses, but just barely. There's no margin, no breathing room, no buffer. So if you've reached a point where you're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore, where you can pay all your bills, cover your rent, and still have money left at the end of the month, that's a massive financial win. Because that leftover money, that's not just extra cash, that's freedom money. It's the kind of money that lets you save, invest, or simply sleep better at night, knowing that one unexpected bill won't throw off your entire month. And it's more important than people realize. A 2024 Lending Club report found that nearly 60% of Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck, including plenty of people earning six figures. Yeah, even high earners are stuck in that cycle because their spending grows right alongside their income. So if you've managed to create a little breathing room, even just a few $100s left over after your bills, you're doing something most people haven't figured out yet. Here's the thing. Financial success isn't just about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. If you earn $5,000 a month and spend $4,000, you're actually more financially stable than someone earning $10,000 and spending all of it because you've built something they don't have. Control. You're not chasing your money anymore, you're directing it. And remember, it's not about how big that leftover amount is. It's about what it represents. Control, peace of mind, and proof that your financial habits are moving in the right direction. Sign number three, you pay your bills on time. Nearly 1 in 6 Americans don't pay their bills on time, according to a 2024 report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And that might sound like a small issue, but in reality, it's one of the biggest habits quietly damaging people's financial lives. Now, this one might sound simple, but it's one of the most underrated signs that you're doing well financially. You pay your bills on time. I know, it doesn't sound exciting. Nobody brags about setting up autopay or paying their credit card before the due date. But when it comes to financial health, this small habit has a massive impact. Because paying your bills on time isn't just about avoiding late fees, it's about building a strong credit profile. Your payment history makes up 35% of your entire credit score. That's more than a third of the whole calculation. So if you've been consistently paying on time, you're quietly building one of the strongest foundations of financial stability. Dave Ramsey puts it best: your credit score is your adult report card. It tells the world how responsible you are with money. Every on-time payment is like casting a vote for your financial reputation. You're showing lenders, landlords, and even future employers that you're reliable and consistent. And that consistency is what separates someone with a fair credit score from someone with excellent credit. Here's a quick example. Ethan and Maya are friends. Ethan always pays his bills, but usually a few days late. He tells himself, it's fine, it's just a small late fee. But those small delays start stacking up, not just in fees, but in his credit history. Meanwhile, Maya sets up automatic payments, no stress, no missed dates, no drama. A year later, her credit score jumps from 680 to 740, and she gets approved for a lower interest rate on her car loan. Ethan's still paying more every month because of a few missed due dates. That's the power of on-time payments. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. You don't have to be rich to build good credit, you just have to be reliable. So if you've been paying your bills on time, month after month, that's a huge milestone. It shows discipline, organization, and self-respect with your money. And honestly, that's something most people underestimate. Because being financially healthy isn't about having the biggest paycheck, it's about managing what you already have like a pro. Sign number 4, you're investing. I don't care if it's $20, 50, or 100 a month. If you're putting money into the market instead of just letting it sit in your savings account, you're already doing something most people never start doing soon enough. Because here's the truth. Investing isn't just about making money, it's about letting your money make money for you. That's the magic of compounding. When you invest, your returns start earning returns of their own. It's like planting a tree. Every year it grows more branches, and those branches start growing leaves of their own. Over time, that's how small, consistent investments turn into serious wealth. And history backs that up. The S&P 500, which tracks America's 500 biggest companies, has delivered roughly a 10% average annual return over the past decade, meaning even through recessions, crashes, and market chaos, the people who stayed invested came out way ahead. But here's the catch. Most people try to time the market. They jump in when it's hot and panic when it drops. The real winners, they're the ones who stay in and let time do the heavy lifting. That's why experts always say, time in the market beats timing the market. Warren Buffett said it best. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Here's a story that makes it real. Alex and Jordan are friends. Alex starts investing $100 a month at 25. Jordan says, I'll wait until I'm making more money. 10 years later, Jordan finally starts investing the same $100 a month. They both keep going until they're 60. Alex ends up with around $200,000. Jordan, just $90,000. That 10-year delay cost him over $100,000. And all Alex did was start earlier. That's the power of compounding. It rewards patience, not perfection. Sign number 5, you don't constantly compare yourself to others. It's easy to scroll through Instagram or TikTok and feel like everyone's winning, buying houses, driving Teslas, posting luxury vacations. But remember, what you're seeing is the highlight reel, not the full story. When you stop comparing your financial journey to someone else's feed, that's a major sign of growth, because the moment you realize their story isn't yours, your focus shifts from how am I doing compared to them to am I improving compared to where I was yesterday? Let's put some perspective behind it. According to the Federal Reserve's 2022 Survey of Consumer Finances, the median net worth for Americans under 35 is about $39,000. For ages 35 to 44, it jumps to around $135,000. What does that tell you? A lot of the people you see living big online are simply further along in life, older, better established, or benefiting from things you don't see, like family help or inheritance. You're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. So here's where the mindset shift happens. Instead of measuring your worth against someone else's highlight reel, start measuring yourself against yourself. Ask questions like, did I save more this month than last? Did I invest more, pay down debt, build better habits? Here's a quick example. Your friend posts a Bali vacation photo and you feel that sting of envy. Why can't I travel like that? But then you remind yourself, I saved an extra $300 this month. I upped my 401k contribution. My credit score went up 20 points. Your goals are different, and that's okay. You're building quietly, not performing loudly. When you stop comparing, you stay in your lane. You build something real based on your goals and your timeline. That's not arrogance, that's financial maturity. So, if you've noticed yourself scrolling less, comparing less, and focusing more on your own growth, that's a clear sign you're doing well financially. Because confidence in your path is worth way more than keeping up with someone else's. Sign number 6, you know where your money is going. Here's one of the clearest indicators that you're doing well financially. You know your numbers, you know exactly how much comes in every month and where it's going. Now, I'm not saying you have to track every coffee or create a color-coded spreadsheet, but if you can open your banking app and roughly tell how much of your income goes to rent, food, savings, and fun, you're already ahead of most people. Because the truth is, a lot of people have no idea where their money goes. They'll say, I don't know why I'm always broke, but then you look closer, like it's daily lunches, random Amazon buys, forgotten subscriptions. It's not that they don't make enough, it's that their money disappears quietly. There's a saying I love. If you don't know where your money is going, how do you expect to ever save any? That's why awareness is so powerful. When you actually know your income and expenses, you take back control. You stop saying, where did all my money go? And start saying, I know exactly where it went and I chose that. That's a huge mindset shift. Think of it like your diet. If you never track what you eat, you'll never know why you're not feeling healthy. But once you start writing it down, even for a week, the patterns become obvious. You see what's helping you and what's holding you back. Money works the same way. And here's a surprising stat. According to a 2024 Intuit survey, about 65% of Americans have no idea how much they spent last month. They just wing it and hope there's something left. So if you check your bank balance regularly, track your expenses, or use tools like Mint, YNAB, or even simple notes on your phone, you're already miles ahead of the average person. So if you already have a clear idea of what's coming in and where it's going, even if it's not perfect, that's a strong sign of financial maturity. Because financial health doesn't start with how much you make, it starts with knowing what you do with what you make. Sign number 7, you're building multiple income streams. If there's one thing that separates people who survive financially from people who thrive, it's this. They don't depend on just one source of income. They build multiple streams, and if you're already doing that, even in small ways, that's a major sign you're doing well. Because let's be honest, relying on a single paycheck today is risky. One layoff, one medical issue, one bad quarter at your company, and suddenly your entire lifestyle is on the line. When all your income comes from one job, you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket and then hoping nothing happens to it. Warren Buffett said it best. Never depend on a single income. Make an investment to create a second source. On that one mindset shift from relying on one paycheck to creating options can change your entire financial future. That's why having multiple income streams, whether it's freelancing, dividends, rentals, digital products, or even a small side hustle, gives you real financial security. It's not about hustling nonstop. It's about stability, knowing that one change at work won't send everything crashing down. And it's becoming more common. According to a 2024 U.S. Census Bureau report, over 40% of Americans now have a secondary source of income. A separate Bank of America survey found that nearly 57% of millennials have at least one side hustle, not just for extra cash, but for long-term flexibility and peace of mind. And here's the thing. Your extra income stream doesn't need to be huge. Maybe it's $200 a month from selling digital products or $100 from dividends. It's not the amount that matters, it's what it represents. You're learning to make money outside of your main job. That's not just more income, that's more independence. Think of your income like a table. If your table has only one leg, it collapses the moment that leg breaks. But if it has 3 or 4 sturdy legs, it stands solid no matter what happens. That's exactly how multiple income sources protect your financial life. And you don't have to be rich or a business owner to start. You can start small. Drive Uber on weekends, start a YouTube channel, create digital art, invest a little in ETF. It's not about starting big, it's about starting at all, because every extra dollar you earn outside your main job moves you closer to freedom. So if you've already started building extra income streams, or even just thinking seriously about doing it, that's a huge milestone. It shows you've shifted from a survival mindset to a growth mindset. You're not just working for money anymore. You're learning to make money work for you. And that's when you know you're not just doing fine financially. You're building real long-term wealth and independence. Oh, if you've made it this far, here's the truth. You don't need a 6-figure income, a Tesla, or a mansion to be financially successful. You just need discipline, awareness, and the patience to keep doing the right things, like even when no one's watching. So don't underestimate the quiet wins. Drop a comment telling me which of these signs you already have and which one you're working on next. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear that they're actually doing better than they think. Because sometimes financial success isn't about being rich, it's about being stable, secure, and in control.